Hello everyone, and welcome to the Reddit Railway. My name is Victor, and I'll be your driver. Today, I have a collection of customer-submitted stories to share. But before I do, you're probably staring at the screen thinking, "Oi, Victor, you nong! What's the deal? Why does this video look so different?" Well, if you stick around till the end, I'll tell you. In the meantime, all aboard! I live in South Australia, so I'm a fan of cricket and play it myself. One day, while warming up for a game by jogging a lap around the oval with my mate, we ran past the opposing team. I found a ball lying on the ground and decided to take it back to my team and ask what to do with it. I was then told I was opening the batting and didn't get a chance to think about the ball since I had to get my pads on. Basically, as soon as I'd finished padding up, a mum from the other team stormed over to us and began questioning me on if I had taken one of their balls. I said yes and pointed to it on the ground. I then picked it up and went to hand it to her when she snatched it out of my hand, called me a thief, and said I stole it. She stormed off and my whole team and I started laughing. I could see why. Fuck you, Karen. If you were that concerned about people stealing your ball, you wouldn't have left it on the ground. Some people. I hope you never saw her again. A special thanks to Lucas Jordan, aka Banjo Koala, for submitting that story. This happened in August of 2019. I remember I was eating dinner with my family. It was dark outside and the day had been overall normal. The next day, as far as I remember, was normal as well. Now we need to skip ahead to around a month later. My dad's sister and I were in our kitchen helping prepare dinner when out of the blue, while looking at his phone, Dad said, "You know, a tornado went right behind our house?" Of course, me and my sister were shocked by this and didn't believe it. That was until we went over and looked at his phone. It had an article about it. I was like, "Oh, cool," and went on with my life like this tornado never happened. I eventually forgot about it, and it wasn't until a few years later when I remembered. I googled my city's name with the word tornado. Sure enough, one of the first links was an article with an image and a video attached. The video was a news reporter talking about the event with footage of the damage. The image was a street map of the area with a green line showing the path the tornado went. Sure enough, it was a few streets behind my house. The video also described some details about the tornado itself, like it had wind speeds of around 80 to 110 miles per hour. It went on for about a mile and a half and it basically took down some trees. Wow, that must have been an interesting discovery. And before anyone asks, no, OP didn't provide links to the article or video. If they happen to be watching, maybe they'll post links themselves. It's lucky the tornado didn't do more damage, especially given the winds. Then again, I don't know much about tornadoes. We do get them here in Australia, but they're very rare and certainly aren't as destructive as they are in other places, unlike bushfires. On that note, this OP submitted a second fire-related story, which I'll read now. So, during school, I used to be in the band. This of course meant that all classes involved instruments making very loud noises, emphasis on loud. So in one class we were doing our usual routine, practicing a song and moving on to the next. Everything was normal until we had finished the song. That was until we heard the fire alarm going off. At first we questioned it, and after the teacher opened the door to look outside, the students and teachers were already going back in. Sometimes this event comes up in student conversation, and we laugh about it for a second. Probably a false alarm or a drill. If there really was a fire, you'd likely smell the smoke before anything. Kind of considerate for fire to give you a heads up like that, which reminds me of two fire-related stories of my own. The first one took place at my last job. I used to work on the receiving dock for a department store. We had this very large, very old roller door that would screech every time we opened it. Think nails on a chalkboard kind of screech. It also took up to 20 seconds to fully open and close. One time I was opening it and I saw people coming out of the shopping center our store was part of. Among those people was my immediate boss. He was like, "What are you doing? Can't you hear the fire alarm?" Which of course I couldn't because of the door, but even when the door stopped I still couldn't hear it. Then we realized the fire alarm on the dock wasn't working, so I didn't get in trouble. Needless to say, that got replaced, and the alarm was a drill anyway. The second story was when I went to see the Batman recently. During the previews we had to evacuate because of the fire alarm. We went out into the lobby and waited about 20 minutes before heading back in. Then about half an hour into the movie itself, it happened again. We left and waited the same amount of time before heading back in. Both times it was a false alarm. It was annoying but understandable. You can't be too careful. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. Thanks for your stories, OP. Let's move on. I currently work at Walmart. This one isn't the most pleasant place to work at, nor was the position I was in at the time. I would stock the shelves in the grocery section whilst being pulled away constantly by my bosses. However, this is not a big part of the story, just a bit of context. At the time this occurred, Walmart implemented a new procedure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Each aisle was a one-way stream, meaning customers could only go one way with arrows pointing the direction they were supposed to go in. For better understanding, take two aisles next to each other. You go up one aisle, down the next, and so forth. They did this to keep the aisles from getting cluttered. This of course led to aggravated customers, mainly aggravated with us as per usual. Now, this isn't a story about something that happened to me, but something I witnessed. I was in the cans aisle, stocking cans when I heard arguing over in the next aisle. I peeped over and saw two people arguing, a middle-aged white woman with blonde hair and a black mother with her child in the cart. The two were arguing over the sign because one of them was going in the opposite direction of the arrow, though I still don't know who. I was just beginning to witness the fight when the white woman said, "It's because of you people that we have this pandemic." As you would expect, the mother went ballistic. They were now yelling at each other so loud you could probably hear them from the toy section at the other end of the store. I stepped in to break it up, pulling the mother away, trying to comfort her, asking her if there was anything I could do. The mother was still fuming but thanked me for offering to help. I wish it had stopped there, but as soon as I got back to my work, there was yelling again. I run over to see the same women arguing in the freezer section. This time I pulled away the mother and one of the managers finally stepped in and pulled the racist woman away. Once more, I apologized to the mother for what she had gone through. This was the last time that happened. I've had many aggravated customers, some you may even call entitled, but this was the first time I witnessed something of the sort in the 2 years I've been there. I'm glad to say this has been the only time I witnessed this. The rest of my days have gone incident-free, and on a positive side note, my position got changed and I can't be pulled away by managers to do anything else. I love the position and have saved the company thousands of dollars, and I'll bet the company loves you in that position because of it. Well done. I've read and heard a lot of Reddit stories, and so many of them take place at Walmart. Can someone tell me why that is? We don't have any here in Australia, so I just don't understand. I also don't understand racism. It's vulgar. On the upside, it's always funny laughing at a person's ignorance, and it gives me the opportunity to use what's becoming my favorite catchphrase, "Fuck you, Karen." I really should put that on a t-shirt. What do you guys think? Should I try creating merchandise? Sound off down below. Thanks for your story, OP. It was a ripper. Okay, so what's the deal with this video? Basically, there have been stories I've wanted to adapt but couldn't due to the technical limitations of the game I use. What I mean by that is either the appropriate models don't exist, or the events described in those stories make filming in Trains 2019 impractical. So I've decided to adopt a new format that should allow me to adapt more stories and, hopefully, more quickly. This may not become a permanent thing. For the next month, I'll upload stories in this new format and see how they go. If I'm satisfied with the results, then it'll become the new norm. If not, I'll go back to the old one. So what do you guys think? Is this a good idea or not? Sound off down below. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Anyway, we've come to the end of our journey. Thank you for traveling on the Reddit Railway, and we hope to see you again soon.